This is the 6-year anniversary of the Revelation sign that happened on September 23rd of 2017. So we're going to open with this while we're waiting for the chat room to fill up.
On September 23rd, 2017, the sun, moon, and stars will align to fulfill a 2,000-year-old prophecy. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth, and pain to be delivered. And she brought forth a man-child, who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron, and her child was caught up unto God, and to his throne. Before you click off this video, I understand there's been many false predictions, false prophecies over the years. This is different. Bear with me and see. First, you need to understand that God made the sun, moon, and stars, and they all obey his order. By the word of the Lord were the heavens made, and all the host of them by the breath of his mouth. Canst thou bind the sweet influences of Pleiades, or loose the bands of Orion? Canst thou bring forth Mazzaroth into season? So we see here that God himself says that he moved the constellations. They obey his ordained order. There's many more verses. Please pause the video to see them. They'll also be in the description. Okay, so we have the constellation Virgo clothed with the sun. And then, as you can see here, the moon is under her feet, and above her head is the 9 stars from the constellation Leo, plus the 3 planets that align perfectly. And to fulfill the birth prophecy, you have Jupiter that stays in the womb for 9 months. Absolute precision. Another thing you must realize is this is not astrology. This is the lost knowledge of biblical astronomy. Stick with me, and you'll see. Let's start at the beginning and see what God said. And let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. Jesus himself said that when he returns, there shall be signs in the sun and the moon and the stars. Think about this. If God wanted to speak to all his children across the entire earth and speak to them all at once in the same universal language, how would he do it? Look at Psalm 19. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night showeth knowledge. There is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. Their line is gone out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. When Jesus was born, it was marked in the stars. The 3 wise men saw his star in the east and knew of it. What makes you think his second coming would be any different? Isn't this sign just the retelling of Jesus' birth? And didn't he say no man knows the day or the hour? We look at Revelation 1:1. The revelation of Jesus Christ, which God gave unto him, to show unto his servants things which must shortly come to pass. Revelation 1:1 shows us that the Father showed all things to Jesus when he ascended to the throne, and he showed us in the book of Revelation. Jesus himself, when he spoke to the churches, said that his believers, his followers, if they overcome and hold his words to the end, they would rule with a rod of iron. This is a very specific passage that connects Revelation 12 and a prophecy of what's going to happen for his believers. Alright, so are we just cherry picking a couple verses and trying to put a prophecy behind it, or is this found anywhere else in the Bible? I'm glad you asked. Unfortunately, we will not be able to read all these verses. Please feel free to pause and take a look at each one of these coinciding verses, which are all pieces to this grand puzzle. Well, what does it all mean? No one knows exactly. What's very interesting is the language that is used in Revelation 12, where the child is caught up unto God. The word caught up is the Greek word harpazo. It's the same word used in Thessalonians when Paul describes the rapture. We are not saying this is what's going to happen, but it is certainly intriguing and worthy to be aware of. The main message is to know that this alignment has not happened in the last 2,000 years since its prophecy. While it's imperative to know that this ministry is not date setting, the facts are the facts. This alignment is set for September 23rd, 2017. Some have run the numbers, and the odds of this are in the trillions. And just 33 days before September 23rd, on August 21st, a total eclipse cuts the United States in half, which is extremely rare and we feel is very prophetic. So again, to quickly recap, you have a woman clothed with the sun, the moon under her feet, and a crown of 12 stars above her head, who just gave birth after a 9-month pregnancy. Please know this is barely even scratching the surface of how in-depth all this is. Please visit this channel and many others, especially Scotty Clark, who has done all the...
Alright. Looks like we got a few people here. Let's get this started. Let's start our solar report here. Okay, so today is the 6-year anniversary of the Revelation 12 star alignment that actually took place. That's a 2,000-year-old prophecy that came true. I showed you Jesus in the clouds at the end of most of my shows. That's another 2,000-year-old prophecy that came true after this event. Okay? Today being the 6-year anniversary, I was a little concerned about what might happen today. Seeing as how I see the numbers 923 all over the place, like on the clock, on license plates, addresses, just everywhere. I always see 923, and I thought maybe, it might be a sign that this being 2023, that we might see something quite prophetic come off the sun, or happen around the earth today. And this, if it were 10 years ago, would have been a prophetic sign coming off the sun, right? But we're so used to seeing this now that it's just kind of ordinary. Yet here we are on the 6-year anniversary on September 23rd, and we have another object right here causing a CME off the sun. Okay, this is earthbound too. This one's heading our direction as well. Okay, we had back to back to back to back CMEs, all this energy heading at Earth, and here we are, September 23rd, the 6-year anniversary of the Revelation 12 star alignment, and we have this object right here causing a CME. All right, today's activity wasn't as much as we're used to kind of seeing, but it did happen today. We did have another object create a CME on the 6-year anniversary. All right, I'm glad it wasn't anything too major. I'm a little more concerned about what happens on year 7, on the 7th anniversary. Anyways, I'm going to put this back into motion and just let it kind of finish playing out there for you guys. Let me scoot it down a little bit. Okay, you can see there's been a few spits and sputters, and then just that one right down there below. Let me get my pointer out here. Right there, okay. There's a little something trailing behind it there. You can see other ones kind of coming out at different angles over here. Something else I want to point out is, see this flaring, not flaring, but this streakage going on over here? This always kind of points to an inbound object. The gravity from the inbound object causes this streaking effect. It acts like a compass needle pointing at an inbound object, and you can see how wide it's getting, and you can see it expanding. So I'm expecting another object to come popping out of this region here pretty soon. Okay, and I don't think this is, oh yeah, this is all the data from this day. And if we go, we'll go look at the 24th, because we got a little peek at it already now that it has turned the 24th. I was a little afraid to report too early today because I wanted to wait until the entire day was done, until the midnight hour, to make sure everything, all bases were covered before I started doing a report here. So we did have, quite a good CME here with this object heading, in our direction. Come over here and take a little peek at the 4th. So you can see this is starting to stretch out and reach towards something. We're having a slow motion CME in this area, it appears. So we're going to come over here now to this instrument and let me zoom in real quick here. Pull this over a little bit. Okay, here we go. So here's the our CME today. Okay, boom, it was an M class one, And even though we had an M class thing, here it is, an M4.4. This wasn't up earlier, so I didn't think they were going to report on it. But yeah, it was an M4.4 right here, I believe. And then now already into the 24th, we've had this one right here. And that was the one that slow motion one I was showing you. And unfortunately, the satellite eclipsed during this event. So we didn't get a full reading of it, but good enough. It reached almost probably M7 maybe, in that area. We'll say there's still a 15% chance of X flares. Okay, so we're not out of the woods yet, but a lot of activity. All these spikes are all objects causing M class flares. There's some smaller C class flares from today, but there was the one from today right here, and then the other one starting already on the 24th. Okay, so I wanted to go take a peek at the tracker. Auroras are still doing fine. Let's open up this tracker real quick because I wanted you to see. They got this CME. Come on now, finish uploading here. They got this CME coming out in our direction, okay? But there's one already in front of it. This one looks to catch up with the first one. I saw a different model that shows this second CME catching up with the first one and hitting us, I think, on the 26th or 27th. I'll have to check it again. All right, so we got another 26th or 27th, I think, is when this one's going to hit here. So we got more inbound energy heading towards Earth, okay? And let me zoom back out of this now. Yeah, this other model was running on a different site, and I saw both these CMEs collide together. Okay, let's go over to the Schumann here. We've had, come on, Schumann. There we go. Just really small little screech events right here, and this is a lot better than what I was expecting. Okay, this is small compared to what I was expecting. I thought these next two would be a lot bigger, so thankfully they're a lot smaller, but you can see we've had a couple little screeching events, little pulses. Let me move the camera in. There's two individual lines on each one of them there. And then you can see as we come out the backside there, that top line, we're still kind of weak, but it's there. All right, at least it's not totally missing. So the Schumann's pumping along, and we had a couple of little screeching events here because of our inbound energy, but nothing like this one. And this is a small one compared to some I've seen before. I figured these next two might be a little bit bigger, and expect to see a couple more now after this, because we have these more of this inbound energy heading our way. Okay. So, oh yeah, let's do this now. So we got something different here on Null School to report on. If it'll pull up my, please, come on now. Had this all loaded up. All right, let's just refresh it. And maybe the CME is causing internet interference during my live stream, huh? Come on now, why is this not pulling up? I had this all set to go, and it should refresh pretty quick. Well, while that one's refreshing, we'll come over here and do the earthquake report, okay? This little quake is just recent right here. It's our deep quake, but it's recent. It's 4.4 at a depth of 475, but this was read just a little while ago, so we have yet to see residual energy from this deep quake. These ones are from residual energy from yesterday's quake. A 5.1 at a depth of 10. We got a 4.5 there at a depth of 187, so a little bit stronger than 4.5 at the surface there. Finally, stuff has come up this side over here and dumped off a 5.1 at a depth of 29 right here, which is good. That's scrubbing some of the energy in the system. That's what we kind of wanted to do, is release something, nothing more than a 6, we'll say. 4.8 here. It doesn't look like anything's reached the fulcrum point here yet. We do have some scattered quakes over here in Europe, in the Middle East. Let's take a peek here. This is a 4.5 in Turkey, back here where we had their big quake a while back. So watch out for more activity around Turkey here. Over here we have a 4.0 in Georgia at a depth of 10, and then down here on this plate boundary is a 4.4 southeast of Greece at a depth of 10. So this area kind of moving around a little bit. Up here by Italy, we're watching this area really close. This is a 4.0 on the coast of Croatia. This is across from Italy, but hopefully you can see this red plate boundary line that runs through here. Okay, so this is a volatile area. It's been quiet lately, but we were told to watch this area, so here we go with a 4.0 in Croatia. So little activity going on around here in the Middle East and up by Italy. I was watching the tornado chasers, and there were no tornadoes yesterday, but there was a tornado in Milan, Italy yesterday. So all these guys are chasing tornadoes out here in the plains when they're clear over here on the other side of the world happening in Italy. How ironic, huh? Okay, some small mouse farts here in Texas, a 2.6, 2.7, and a 3.2 outside of White City, New Mexico. What's this? 2.6 out in Utah. Check California here. We have a 3.3 right outside Patterson, California. That one's really shallow at a depth of 1.8. So little activity, nothing too much. 2.7 and 2.9. So some of this activity I was expecting yesterday to move into the Juan de Fuca here. Either skipped over it. There's a 3.4 up there. Either skipped over it and kind of just planted a few small ones down here, or it still hasn't released yet. But to me, it looks like it kind of skipped over and hit California there. Alright, so not much there on these quakes. Where was this other one? Fulcrum Point here, 4.5 in Chile at a depth of 124. Alright, now, why is this not... Let me try something else. Let's see if we can close out. I'm trying to get this null school thing back up because I found something quite interesting here that was going to be central to my report, and now it's not pulling up. And it won't let me X out of it either. Interesting. Let's just try opening a new one. Bear with me real quick here. I wanted to show you something on this null school. Yeah, that one's working. Funny how that one won't let me X out of it. Alright, we got it up in another page anyway. So let me set this real quick. What was I looking at? What was it I was trying to show them? Oh, those particulates. So fires, space, the particulates. Alright, so 1 micron here. Alright, sorry. I I had it all set up on my other page. But, so here we are. Let me take these winds off real quick here. Here we are with our fires, all right? And I put the particulates on down to 1 micron, the smoke, okay? So you can see the fires and the corresponding smoke with them, all right? And there's quite a few fires going on here in South America, a lot of smoke. See all this? Let's pull over to this side. Okay, so a lot of fires, a lot of smoke here in South America. I want you to look over here at South Africa. Look at all of these fires here and all this smoke covering South Africa here. Even coming off of Madagascar here, because they got fires as well. Not as bad as it looked before. Alright, so there was that. Now, look over here at China. Where was it I wanted to show you? Oh, okay, so here's our ones up in Canada. Alright, here's our fires and our smoke up in Canada, all right? The red indicating more intense, okay? We have this fire up here in Northern California, all right? And it's smoke, all right? You can see the little dots, and then it's smoke area around it. Now watch this. We're going to come over here. Let me pull back a little bit so you guys can get a reference. We're just here along the Mississippi, just south of the Ohio River Junction right here, right in this New Madrid zone. And I want you to look at what's going on in this area. We have an outbreak of fires in this area. And these aren't just people's backyard barbecues, okay? Because look at this. There's corresponding smoke that goes with it, all right? Watch this. I'm going to put the winds back on. All right, so your fires are here. See, we got smoke down in here. There's even little fires strewn across this area as well. But watch when I put the winds back on this. Where it was blowing earlier, it was blowing this smoke. This isn't the right height. Nope, I guess that was right. Oh, apparently the direction has changed. Anyways, it was blowing down this way, corresponding with the smoke down here. I have to get back to the particulates. There we go. Alright, so we have this outbreak of fires here in the New Madrid area, so I'm putting out a little warning for this area right now. Watch out for some kind of earthquake activity, because we have a blossom or a little outbreak of fires right here, these hot spots, and this is magma underground pushing up through the perforations in the crust right here. So now let's take this, while we got the fires there, we're going to switch over to, alright, we're going to take off the smoke. Now look at where we're at here. Okay, now do you see that this is a little outbreak of fires right here? And other stuff around surrounding it is starting to speckle. We come over here, look down through Georgia and Florida and stuff through here. Okay, so something going on in this region right here. Watch out, folks, for fires. Watch out for possible fissures open up, maybe an earthquake in this area. All right, when we pull back, You can see here's the Ohio River coming in. Here's the Mississippi coming down. This is right here at this junction right by New Madrid. And we have this new plume of fires breaking out. And this, look at this plume compared to, say, what's going on up here in Canada. All right, it's starting to look similar. Whoops. So there's Canada. Okay, so watch out, people in this area. We might be experiencing a quake in this area soon. What else did I want to do with this one? No. We're going to go to the SO2 in this region. Whoops, let me take the wind off. Alright, now the fires don't show up as much, but as we zoom back into our region here, you can see it's in this area where we have a lot of this SO2 coming out of the ground. Alright? Right there in the heart of the country. Notice how everything's kind of divided from this line this way, and the intense part is right in this area. Well, this is where this fire outbreak is. Okay, so warn people in this area that you know, give them a heads up, let them know, watch out in this area. There could be a big quake in there, or possible, fires, fissures, whatever happening in this area as well. Okay, so that's new. Now let me take off the gases again. Go back to the black background. Oop, there we go. Alright, so now you can see this little outbreak. Alright, and when we got it here, let's go down South America. See this going on down here, you guys? Alright, look over here at South Africa. A lot of fires going on down there. And just to show you, let's go back to the particulates. Let me put the smoke in there for you. Alright, that's South Africa, all their fires and all the corresponding smoke. So, stuff they're not reporting on is South Africa's having fires, South America's having fires, and now up here in Canada, and it looks like, watch out for a new little outbreak here along this Mississippi River Valley. That's like Arkansas area by Missouri probably. Alright. Let me get a different map to compare here. Let me put some borders on this one real quick here. Come on now, let me put some borders on it. Okay, I want to go into... Alright, Ohio River, boom, boom. Here's the junction right here. So we're talking all this area right in here. So this is going to be northeastern Arkansas, southeastern Missouri. This whole area, everything just south of the junction of Ohio and Mississippi River, all this on the western side of the Mississippi is what this was showing here. Oh, not that one, this one. Okay, so here's the Ohio, here's the Mississippi, here's the junction, everything on this side. So that's a lot of this right in here. So Arkansas, Memphis area, it's just on the other side of Memphis in the Little Rock, well, not Little Rock, but in this area of Arkansas, reaching up into this tip of Missouri here. So if you know people in this area, I'd give them a little warning. Watch out. Be on alert for stuff happening in that area. Possible fires, earthquakes, possible fissures opening up in the ground, maybe even a new volcano. Dare I say that? But say a fissure opens up and some of this lava pushes through, that would technically be a new vent or a volcano. So let's pray that doesn't happen. But what I'm seeing on this, and this is just recent, this is a new change. This wasn't here the other day when I was looking at this. Take the winds off of it again. Put black back on it. Whoops. And take that away. Okay. So probably nobody's reporting on this quite yet, but you guys can get the word out there. Tell them to come over to Knoll School, put it on the fires, and you'll see that this region of the country now has this new little outbreak. And it's tightly packed, too. It's not like it's... see how this is all densely packed, these fires right in this area? That's very similar to what happened up here in Canada. See how they're kind of tightly packed together here? Alright, so everybody head on a swivel, be aware, this is what's going down right now. Something new that we've spotted. We'll still continue to watch this over here in Northern California as well. This spot right here. Okay, because it also has gas leaking it from it too. Let me go to the SO2 real quick. Take the wind off again. See, this spot, this area with the fires also was induced by underground. We have this high concentration of sulfur dioxide coming out of this area with a corresponding fire. Same with this little guy. And I showed you last night all these corresponding fires that match these plumes, especially up here in Canada. I mean, look at these plumes and then how the fires match up. I mean, it's not too hard to put two and two together to figure out that that's what's going on here, okay? And now, while we got the gas on, we'll come over to these fires. And you can see that we have gas leaking from the ground in this area. Maybe not as intense, like a dark purple spot or whatever, but when we back out of here, it's on this eastern flank of the division in our country, the separation in this event here, okay? All right, let's move on to the forecast. Here we go. If it'll bring this up. How this is never X'd out. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and play the loop real quick and then we'll go through it frame by frame. This is from current conditions through the next few days here. There it goes. Okay, back up the frame. Center this so everybody can see it and I can use the buttons. Alright, here we go. This is current conditions right now. Now there was some intense thunderstorms in this area today. There were no tornadoes, thankfully. A lot of praying, I think, diverted a lot of potential destruction today. So we still have this setup, though, okay? And we still have this that's impacting the East Coast as well, currently, as we're speaking, okay? So we had some intense thunderstorms. Residual effects are still out there. This is the current conditions, the nighttime of the 23rd. Now we're going into the morning of the 24th. See how it separates, but we still have intense thunderstorms down here. This still wrapping up, still dousing the East Coast. Um, that's noon the 24th. The end of convection the 24th. Some of this down here is really speckled, but it could intensify. We still have inbound energy. It seems to have maybe caused a compression effect to where the cloud tops aren't getting high enough to produce big old tornadoes, and maybe added some wind shear. So we've avoided some tornadoes, but there is big hail, lots of flash flooding in these. All right, so this is the end of convection the 24th, but then it shows it blossoming into the overnight hours here down in Texas, Louisiana, and up into Arkansas. So this area on the night of the 24th, watch out, okay? Have your head on a swivel, watch your weather reports, follow the weather during the day to make sure that, this doesn't catch you off guard here in Texas. So we go into the morning of the 25th, it's still residual moisture, but then we go into the noon. We have this onshore storm hitting all the way up from BC down into Northern California here. That's the end of convection, the 25th. Even though this is dissipated, there's still a central core spinning right here with some pop-ups in there. So I'd watch out up here. This could be more intense. There might still be stuff down in here that might be popping up too. So just watch those areas. This is the nighttime of the 25th, the morning of the 26th, noon. The end of convection the 26th. They're showing all sorts of pop-ups down here in northern Florida, so we'll watch that area down there on the end of, or sundown the 26th. Still hangs out there in the nighttime. Now we're into the morning of the 27th. There's still this onshore storm over here in Washington, Northern Oregon. We're the middle of the day, the 27th. Here's the end of convection, the 27th. We still have a little bit of energy out here. Then we go into the nighttime, the morning of the 28th, noon. The end of convection, the 28th. Still some pop-ups out here on the coast. You gotta watch out for that stuff. It could reach back around and come back on shore. This is the nighttime of the 28th. Morning of the 29th, noon, the end of convection of the 29th, nighttime of the 29th, morning of the 30th, noon, the end of convection, nighttime. So here, on the nighttime of the 30th, we have this low passing through the Rockies, and the backside of it brings snow to Wyoming and stuff up in here, so this is the morning of October 1st. This huge high-pressure ridge has built this low and pushed it back, building up snow back behind this low here. So watch out here in Wyoming for a snow event here on the end of September into October 1st. That's the noontime, still snowing there. The end of convection. Then the front side of this starts to push up. This is the nighttime of the 1st. And you see these pop-up thunderstorms along this front boundary here. Let me go back a frame and then forward again. You see how that congeals into this at nighttime? So watch here, Kansas, northern Nebraska area, even up into North Dakota, little speckles into Canada on the night of the October 1st. All right, after this, it gets a little unpredictable, so we're just kind of going to go through this. This is the end of convection right here on the 2nd, but watch how this blossoms at nighttime right here. So on the 2nd, possible here in Kansas, Oklahoma Panhandle, Texas area. Dissipates in the morning, still there during the noontime. That's the end of convection. Now we have this low over here wrapping up and coming at this area in North Carolina again. Boom. That's the morning of the 4th. noon the 4th, and the end of convection October 4th. Now look how this thing has wrapped up and is circulating and pushing all this moisture right back onto the point right here in North Carolina and Virginia. So that same area is going to get hit again with this on the 4th. Boom. And it buzzsaws up the coast again just like this last one did. Here we are, the end of convection October 5th, and it's still right here. Maryland, Virginia, Pennsylvania, southern New York area. And it just continues to go up the coast there. That's the morning of the 6th, noontime. Then it finally leaves at sundown the 6th. Okay, so a lot going on there. Let's put it back into motion one more time. Here's the beginning. Alright, so that's your solar / weather report. And now on to the spiritual side of stuff. For those of you that were here for just the solar report, we're done with that. For some of you that were waiting for the spiritual stuff, waiting for me to wrap this up, hang on just a second and see if I can clear some of this other stuff out of here. So my computer doesn't freeze up here. Please let some of this stuff go. We can take that one down. Oh, come on now. It'll come back here in just a second here. I hope it comes back in just a second here. Come on now. I was in the middle of a show. Let's do this. Really? I should have just clicked on the next thing and not even tried to clear anything out. That's my bad for trying to clear out some open pages. Here we go. So we did that. Now let's just move on to this. Alright. So, kind of picking up where we left off last night. I was showing you the spiritual realm captured on security cameras. The angels, also demons and Satan captured on that. And then also how the spiritual realm has now moved to the clouds. Well, now we have all kinds of faces in the clouds that follow me everywhere I go. And I'm going to start this little video for you here. Let's move on to the spiritual realm. It has now moved into the clouds, and now I have faces in the clouds that follow me everywhere I go. One day I went into the store, and the sky was looking weird, so I started taking a couple of pictures here. This is what it looked like before I went into the store. And when I came out of the store, there was this giant Grinch face sitting in the sky. You can't see it. Here's his eye, his other eye. Here's his nose right here, with the little nostrils. He's got the short stubby nose with the nostrils you can see up. Here's his little smirk. He's got the puffy cheeks like this. So this face right here is the Grinch. And I took a ton of pictures of this, so we're going to start scrolling down. And you can see it here. Right here, it starts to become more and more defined, more and more clear. Okay, so as we scroll down, it's getting, more and more defined here. Then, as we keep going, you'll see that the Grinch starts to grow horns here. You can see in some of these pictures here, I'll go down another row. There we go. You can see here that the Grinch, his face now, you can make out his puffy cheeks now and his nose a little better. But now he's starting to grow horns. So we got the Grinch growing horns, And if you look at this last image right here, it's starting to turn into a dragon face. And if we scroll down one more here, you can see over here it's turned into a dragon. This one's a little bit bigger, it's hard to see. The Grinch is now turned into a dragon face. And maybe I'll just try this real quick. This one a little bit better. This is probably the best image right here of the dragon face. So, the Christmas season, the Grinch showed up and turned into a dragon. So you can see how I take a bunch of pictures like this, and what I do is I compress them down into the smaller frames like this, and then put them in a flip book. So now we're going to go to the flip books that I've made, and we're going to start going through some of these and pointing out faces. Actually, before we go to the flip books, I just saw something. I want to go to this little section right here. This is where we left off kind of yesterday with these faces right here. This is the unfiltered version of that demon face, okay? And then we left off with this face right here in the last video. And then we've also had this little goblin face show up too. And you can see how it's dropped down out of the clouds. And I'll even go zoom in on this goblin face a little bit here. Oh, I know what I can do on this program. Let me zoom back out. Move that out of the way. Let's just click on it here. Alright. Now you can see that this goblin face here has a big long nose. He has a mouth open with teeth. There's actually a row of teeth in there. Okay, pull this down a little bit. There we go. And you can actually see an eye with a pupil in it right here. Big long nose. He's got this mouth open with this, teeth in here. And you can make out his little beard, his little goatee coming off of it. So we back out, you see this face, this goblin face in the clouds, and it has dropped down from the level of the clouds. And we'll go a couple of pictures through this here. And yeah, you can see up here these big streaks. It's dropped way down out of the sky. This cloud was way up here with the rest of these clouds, and now it's dropped way down and turned into this goblin face. And we'll just... Alright, hang on, let me fast forward. This where this video gets a little glitchy here. How defined that is in the clouds. A wolf face. Let's see. Yeah, it's a little bit better. You make out an eye here, an eye there. Here's the ear coming up. The snout coming down. Here's the black nose on the end. The mouth is open, and he's huffing and puffing. It's the big bad wolf huffing and puffing in the sky. And
Yeah,
like
it's not coming
frames of this. Yeah, 4 frames right there. And then it started to evolve and get clearer and clearer as the wolf. Let's see. Capturing it very well. Pretty good, right about there. Then one more. There's the wolf again. And then a few minutes later it changed into this face, okay? So I take a series of pictures and then I put them in a flip book. So there was the wolf and all these. So now we'll go back and we'll pick out my favorites here. So what I've done here, alright, here's the first one. This face right here, and maybe we will click on this because it's not, whoops. Okay. Go back a little bit. Too focused. Anyways, you can see that this face has an eye, has a long nose again, the mouth down here, the chin, here's the jawbone coming up on the side. At the very top, when it starts, it looks to have 2 little horns coming off of it or something. Okay, so that's one of these weird faces with big long nose on it right here. And that's one of the flip books I did of this face. Now, over here, this one's really interesting. This is kind of how they form. So what I'm going to do is pop it up there. Let me get this adjusted just right for you guys, because I want you to be able to see this one. Okay, you can see at the end we have this face forming, right here. It's like the butterfly man. He has antennas coming up right here and right there. Here's his nose. And the clouds come together and gel together and make this face. And you can make out at the very end, this is his hand sticking out. Oh, it's not good. I hope that's too bright. There we go. Now we're capturing it. Okay, so that's another one of these examples of these faces in the clouds that follow me everywhere I go, man. So back out of that one now.
Yeah.
And this one's kind of fun. Let's see. Get this one pulled up just right for you guys. Come down. It's a little bright right there. Bear with me as I adjust this because it's all about the color and the tint and stuff. Okay, what we have going on here is some kind of like bird-like creature, and his eye is right here, and he's covering it up and then uncovering it. Peekaboo, I see you. So just watch that for a second. Hopefully you can see. This would be the top of it, like a bird's head. Here's his beak, some kind of creature with a beak or whatever, and he's taking his wing or whatever and covering his eyes right there. Uncovered, now it's covered. It's uncovered, covered. So watch that for a second. And it's like a peekaboo or something. Watching me in the clouds, saying peekaboo, I see you. Yeah. So that one was another one of them there. Okay. Then we're going to go down to these ones here. I'm going to adjust the screen a tad bit better. Okay, so this is kind of weird. It's hard to describe, but it's like a cartoon character with big ears, like right here, and his other ear coming up here. He has two eyes right there, and his tongue sticking out. He has a big long nose that comes out, and over in this one is this face starting to form. You can see the big long nose. These are the frames before this. So here this face, this dark shadow of this cartoonish face with big long ears and big eyes and a big long nose starts to form in the sky. Then over here, as it progresses, you can see this face, this goofy face with the big eyes and the tongue sticking out. What's happening is there's like a mouse, like Tom and Jerry, Jerry the mouse, on top of this character's head, and he's pulling open his eyelids, and his eyelids are lighting up because he's being forced to see something. Okay, let's try this one more time. Let's see if you guys can see this one, because I'm capturing all kinds of crazy scenes in the sky. Crazy scenes, crazy faces and stuff. Okay, that one's a little weird, but I had to show it to you because this is what I'm capturing. Whether it makes sense or not, I'm just going to bring it to you and show you what I'm capturing. And I believe this is like the awakening. It's a sign of the awakening. Sometimes people won't look or wake up, so you have to be forced. And this mouse is purposely lifting up this guy's eyelids to see. And when he sees, he's shocked and his tongue sticks out. I've seen this somewhere. This is like some kind of cartoon. If anybody recognizes this cartoon character or what's going on here, if you've ever seen this before somewhere, leave a comment in the comment section or whatever, because this reminds me of some kind of cartoon character or something. Okay, speaking of cartoon characters, now we're going to move on to one of the most interesting ones I've ever caught. Alright, so now, let me pull this back down a bit. Oh boy, we're going to make some adjustments here, folks. Bear with me. Okay. So, what's going on in this one? So this appears to be the Revelation 12 labor. The woman in labor. It's kind of cartoonish itself, but here's the lady laying on her back with her legs down, okay? Here's her head. She's like an alien creature, almost like an E.T. from the movie E.T. Here's her eye and her other eye and her mouth. And every time the sun comes out, like a labor pain, her eyes open up and her mouth opens up and she screams. There's some kind of midwife character right here. It looks like a character from the Rugrats with these pigtails or ponytails coming off over here. And that's about the best I can pull it down. But what I can do is we're going to zoom in on her face. And I want you to look how her face reacts to the sun coming out. She's giving birth to the sun. Her eyes right here in her mouth open up and she's, ah, 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 ah. You see her screaming, ah. And then this is like the midwife or whatever that's helping her through labor. So I believe this is the revelation, the labor pains, the little sign in the clouds that we're in the process to the labor pains. And how clever that she's giving birth to the sun. I mean, that was an incredible capture there. And like I said, I don't know how these cartoon character type, characters, I don't know what role they play in it, but this is how it's coming out, and this is what I'm capturing. So hopefully you can see that. Then I think, okay, here's that goblin one. Let's do this guy real quick. Okay, and like I said, this reminds me of the goblin from Jabba's temple or whatever. It's the little guy that sits on Jabba's lap. You can make out an eye right here. Here's the other eye. It's a little bit bigger. You can see it has a vertical slit in it. Okay, his nose droops and comes out and hangs over. You can see his mouth. He's kind of frowning a little bit. Okay, so, and he's like either lifting his eyebrows or frowning or something. But here's another one of these giant faces that I was talking about. Okay, so we'll move on to the next one. Here is the wolf progressing into that face. Okay, let me go in just a tad bit tighter for you guys. Come on, let me go in a little zoom. There we go. So these faces also morph and change into other faces as well.
Didn't come out very well.
So you guys can see that. Alright. And then here I tried to do one of the
Phone fell down.
the Grinch here. It didn't turn out as well. But you can see some of the Grinch faces and how it morphs and changes into something else. And then I got another special one that I'm going to save for another night. Back and see what else was it that I wanted to report on.
I think that was it for that. Okay. So let me pull back out of this. So you seen all them different faces that are following me, watching me from the clouds. The Grinch turning into the dragon, the wolf turning into the demon face, just all kinds of odd stuff. And there's also UFOs too. Sometimes when I'm taking pictures of this stuff, UFOs are captured in the background. And I'll show you some of that tomorrow night. For now, we're just going to leave off with this, our closing image. Oh, serious with the ad. Hang on, kitty. We're almost done. Close up real quick here with this image of Jesus again, because this is what it's all about. And I keep showing this because this is a real miracle. This is 2,000-year-old prophecy, just like the star alignment on September 23rd. 2,000-year-old prophecy came true. Well, here's another 2,000-year-old prophecy came true on Easter. Jesus in the clouds with a crown over his head showing great power and authority. Okay? So, hopefully that brings a little hope. Hopefully that brings a little bit of hope and builds a good foundation for you guys so you understand what's going on. The Bible is real. Jesus is real. We are in the end days. You're looking at real signs that are happening that were foretold in the Bible 2,000 years ago, actually coming true. And if you're watching your news closely, you'll see that we're having revelations almost every day. So everybody hold on tight. Keep praying. Pray for each other's strength and endurance. And don't let the devil steal your joy, because your joy is your strength. And you can't fight back if you don't have any strength. So don't let them steal your joy. All right? That's it for tonight. I love you all. God bless you all. And until my next video, bye. I'll be back.